no
but
problem.
I'm all over the place. So we are live.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yep. Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We apologize for being late. Crazy Bee is having some technical issues, and huh, I am having some,
Understatement.
yeah, and I'm having some baby JJ issues. He was fine this morning and has decided that we'll be a crazy man this afternoon. And then, oh, let's see what's happened, has transpired today. Mm, the biggest thing was when he was sleeping, and I decided I'd go to the other part of the house to grab the cottage cheese that's in the refrigerator that freezes everything cold or freezes it frozen. And I grabbed the cottage cheese and noticed that there were some blueberries there, so obviously there's blueberries all over the kitchen floor. And I came back with them and a glass of very cold water. You have to step up to get into the new addition, which is the front door, kitchen, master bedroom, all of that. So, unfortunately, taking care of this little monster has taken a toll on this sick body, and we decided that it would be a good idea to collapse on the floor and lay there for a little while. And surprisingly, I only spilled a little bit of water. The cottage cheese and blueberry stayed there, but then there was the question of how are we going to get up? And luckily, we have a grab bar, so I slid myself over to the grab bar and pulled myself up and got back up. So I happened to be talking to Crazy Bee, and she was like, Dee, you really ought to look into getting a medical alert bracelet or necklace or whatever. And I said, yeah, I've considered that, but they really don't work all the way down into my basement, so I'm not going to pay for something that doesn't cover the entire area. I said, but I really don't want to tell you this. She's like, what? And I said, really? I have to tell you? She's like, yeah, you have to tell me. I'm like, well, I have I have an Apple Watch. She goes, what? I said, yeah, I have an Apple Watch. And she's like, you're not wearing it 'cause why? And I said, well, who wears a watch just when you're home? You wear a watch when you go out. You don't wear a watch just to wear a watch in the house. Like you got to take it off if you're doing dishes, whatever. And she's like, well, why don't you start wearing it? And she goes, oh, I know. You're going to say that you can't find it in that mess of a room that you have. And I said, no, do I have to tell you this part too? She goes, what? I said, it's laying right on my nightstand by my lamp. She's like, you're freaking kidding me. She's like, get the watch, charge the watch, and wear the watch.
Uh huh.
So, uh huh. So I guess I'm gonna get it, and I don't know where the charger is to tell that. That's gonna be. I don't know where the charger is for the watch.
Mm, you'll find one eventually. Hey, Shoemaker, by the way, I just saw the chat. I'm still getting links to share out. I apologize. I am really behind.
Yes, she is. Hey, Shu.
It is all technical difficulties, nothing on purpose. I
Yes, it
swear.
is. It is on purpose. Hey, Shu. Hey, JJ. So with that being said, I guess we're gonna get the watch and start wearing the watch because if something happens to me, no matter where I'm at in the house or even watching the baby, we can at least call 911 or I could call my daughter-in-law. Uh, yeah, going down was pretty bad. So since Oh, what time is it? It's now going on 3 something. I'd say since 1 o'clock he's been screaming. I got him down quiet now, but there ain't no guarantees what today's show's gonna be like. We're gonna be.
When have we ever guaranteed what the show was going to be like?
Is that the frickin' truth? What do I need? I need to get an internet router extender.
Oh, I got one in the house. We use one too.
Yeah, but I think we tried it in the basement. I'll have to ask Eric about that.
Well, you got to put it on the like on the stairs going to the basement in order for it to work. But like
Uh,
that's one of the problems is the router. You got to
uh-huh.
kind of have like if you're having the extenders, you kind of like I've even had mine plugged into an extension cord hanging down the side of some steps before when I lived in Michigan.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll do whatever we have to because I've laid on the cellar floor. Luckily, I had underwear on, but and a
Uh-huh.
t-shirt for over 45 minutes before I could get up.
Yeah,
And
that's not good. That's something you
no,
should not
it's
do.
not. And the floor is ice cold, so um, my health is just such that remember when I was sick and they sent, which pissed me off. Instead of Leslie coming down to check on me, they sent Jacob down to check on me. And he calls Eric and he goes, "Yeah, Pap, Nini's laying there with her eyes open like she's sleeping." And then he went to go
Not a
color.
good sign.
No, and then he went to go color, and that nothing happened after that. And I'm like, Eric had to wait until he got home from like regular work to find me unconscious. So
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, things aren't copacetic, let's say.
Yeah, I would
So,
have issues with it too.
mm-hmm, big issues. So that was
Ah,
that. What else happened? Oh, all kind of shit over the weekend, but I can't at this point remember too much because I'm in too much damn pain from this new job I have. My body hurts so bad. I don't know which end is up. I feel like I've started to close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes, go to
yep.
sleep. Here we go. Um, I feel like I've been through the ringer. Like I'm, like
You
I
sound like
started,
it.
like I started working out with weights and started running and jogging, and I mean my legs burn. I laid
Uh-huh.
down yesterday. Eric walked in. He just looked at me. He goes, "Go to bed right now." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You look terrible," and I'm like, "Yeah, I feel terrible." I'm like, just holding him and moving him around. You're like up, down, all around, and you don't realize just how much you utilize. And typically, I'm in bed from being sick, and
Hmm.
we shall see how this works out. I did talk to her today about potential daycare when he gets a little bit older, but I can't let him go to daycare. You
Just
know,
don't put what the thing though is what they got to take into consideration. What happens if tomorrow you end up in the hospital for some reason? And yes, I'm knocking on wood.
right,
No, that should not happen. But what if?
right.
What are they going to do?
They have to have some kind of, they don't have a backup plan. That's the problem.
Always have a backup plan when you have kids.
Right,
Always.
right. So
That
they
is
need,
something I've held to my entire life is have a
mhm.
backup plan.
I mean, they could, I guess, ask her mother, but her mother watches her other granddaughter, the one that has the severe autism,
Hmm.
and I don't think she could handle two children. especially a newborn. So I just have to take the best care of myself that I possibly can, which means watch him during the day and pass out during the night, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
then
understandable.
get back up and do it over again.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's
working.
tough.
It is.
Taking
I'm,
care of kids is not for the faint of heart.
uh-uh. I'm getting up at 7 o'clock, and I've been going to bed at like 6 o'clock. I'm eating
Uh
dinner
huh.
and literally going to bed.
Oh,
The only thing
that's
that's
just insane.
the saving grace is how freaking beautiful he is. You know what I mean? God made them this way so that you wouldn't kill them,
That's true.
right? Yep. And
Oh,
I'll,
that is so true.
yep. I don't know. I don't know if I could get a. Can I get a live screenshot of him, Crazy B?
You'd have to turn on your
Camera.
camera, and
Uh, yeah.
um, then I think you can share. No, you can't share your screen that way. I don't think it'll
No,
work.
I can't.
But if you turn on your camera, your picture will be replaced with him.
Ugh. Um, I don't think I can do everything in one hand, so I'll snap a
Worst
picture.
case, send a picture and I
Yep.
can share it.
All right.
I hope.
Yeah, because Crazy B's got her own issues with a new
Switching
computer
computer
program.
programs, getting rid of Windows, switching to Linux, and for some reason the studio doesn't want to communicate with Linux to let me share videos straight from my computer. So it's been one of those days. Yeah, I'm having a fun day.
And this is my shoulder, not my boob, people. Although he likes the boob and under the armpit, he's laying in the crook of my arm. And I'll tell you what, that hole from my wrist to my frickin' elbow is on fire
Oh, yeah.
from just
Let
holding. I mean,
me.
because he's 10 weeks old and close to 14 pounds. So he's
Oh, no,
big.
that won't work. Hold on. Nope. Where did it go? Where did it go? I
And Crazy B
almost
might,
had it.
yeah, she might not be able to even share it because,
Oh, I will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Watch
mm,
my determined butt do this.
mm-hmm. So she's been playing with this new computer program all weekend. And,
Share this tab instead. Let me pull this up and show y'all what cute little guy is looking like.
hey Vanilla, nice to see you.
And there's little guy,
Mm-hmm.
JJ, passed out, nice and
Mm-hmm.
calm for a change.
Yep, with that big old head of his.
He's a sweetheart. He
Mm-hmm.
really is. Oh, just the cutest thing on the planet.
Yeah, her and another friend got to see him this afternoon because
He smiled for us.
yes, I accidentally made the wrong phone call to
You called
a
all
friend.
of us instead of just one. It's all
Yes,
right. We love you.
and I didn't realize it, so he was cooing and smiling, and then after we hung up, then he started screaming. So,
Yep.
but I can't believe I'm stuck with it for 3 years.
I can. And it's, again, you love him to death. You really do.
I know. And then what? At the end of the week, well, Friday, Jacob's done. So then well, luckily I only have him till lunchtime, and then he's going back home. But that's going to be Miss D's school. All right.
He's like, don't shush me. I'm a good boy.
All right. It's all right. JJ. What are you saying? Don't tell me no.
Oh,
Here we go. I told you.
you woke him up.
And here's
Nene
the
woke
show.
him up.
And here's the show.
Ah,
All
I
right.
think it'll be
Do you?
fine.
Yeah, we basically were trying to kill time for anybody that's interested in why we're telling these stories. Because
We
Crazy
always
B
tell
was,
them.
I know, but Crazy B was having some technical difficulties, so we were trying to extend our conversations a little bit.
What do you want about?
So, are
I'll
you
do
ready,
something
Crazy
productive.
I
B? Did
did.
you find everything?
I am. I
Okay.
am. And I think I got these. We didn't really discuss order,
I don't
but I
care.
kind of threw them in the order you sent them to me.
Okay.
So, one of the first videos is actually one I found. California is trying to pass a bill, or they might have already passed this, that allows the illegal immigrants to help oversee elections.
Jeez.
Even my son just said, "What?" So, I hope the audio comes through good. I don't know. This is me figuring this out as I go because, changing systems and figuring this out. But yeah, so let's see what they have to say.
Assemblymember DeMaio, you were recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to AB 930. It does not modernize the way people vote. It adds the ability for non-citizens to serve as recount board members. I'm not sure why a non-citizen should have any business serving on a board overseeing a U.S. election. That's not how people vote in America. I don't know where you hang out, but it's not where people vote, how most people vote that I talk to on both sides of the aisle.
Mr. DeMaio, just a moment. Mr. Berman, state your point of order, please.
I'd ask my colleague from San Diego not to hurl insults at fellow assembly members on the assembly floor.
Hurl insults.
Excuse me, Mr. DeMaio. Mr. Berman, your point is well taken. Mr. DeMaio, please use decorum.
I think most Californians would wonder.
Oh, that was it for that one. Yeah, um, they're trying to allow illegals to oversee our elections in California. What do you guys think?
Oh, it's a wonderful idea because American citizens don't want to take the job or do the work. So, you know what
I
they
just don't
say.
trust them because they could rig it.
You know what they
Then they could.
say. You know what they say. Illegals will take any job.
I get that, but like, still, I don't like the idea of a non-citizen with no loyalty helping oversee our elections.
Agreed. They should
I
have
don't
no
like it.
right. Yeah, there should be no right.
Hmm. I don't think it's a good idea at all.
You're eating, by the way.
Uh huh. Coleslaw.
You still haven't finished that?
No, I'm finishing the last of the stuff from the container in the fridge.
Now I want to get up and get some of them jalapeno poppers. But if I get up,
Those
I
sound
risk.
good.
I know, but if I get up, I risk.
Waking him up.
Uh huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do a poll?
Um,
Have we tried a poll yet?
I don't think I have. I don't know how to set one up.
Oh, okay. Well, so much for that then.
I know how to set them up on YouTube at the community page, but not on the live streams.
Oh, alright, that's something we'll have to learn.
Hmm.
Because I'd say we'll take a poll. Who says we risk waking them up to go get
Just tell them
jalapeno?
to put yes or no in the chat.
Okay, so let's get a
Duh.
yes or a no. Should I attempt to get up and get pepper poppers for the next hour and a half since we have not had lunch? Yes or no? And nobody's going to answer.
Most are going to tell you not to risk the baby waking up.
I figured.
But while waiting on that, let's jump to the next video. Ron
Okay.
DeSantis isn't having the fake meat in Florida.
Oh my God, this is the most disgusting story.
Uh-huh.
Take your fake lab-grown meat elsewhere. We're not doing that in the state of Florida. And this group, the World Economic Forum, they've not only told you that the consumption of meat is, quote, the source of greenhouse gas and climate change. Obviously, they've said that. They also want you to believe that consuming insects is a, quote, overlooked source of protein and a way to battle climate change. Now, I'm sure they'll say, hey, wait a minute, just hear us out before you say yuck. And to that I say, Florida has heard enough on that.
I like him. He's holding his ground.
Well, that's as bad as the story that was told. I forget which, is it the cockroach or some...
maggots and cockroaches. They want to use maggots to make milk and cockroaches in bread.
Wait,
and mealworm.
What do they want to use for milk?
Maggots. They want to ground up maggots to make milk.
Oh, Jesus, God, no.
Oh, you didn't hear about that? That was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that?
I heard about it, but I didn't know which bug it was. I thought it was the cockroach. Now you're telling me maggot milk? Is that how we're advertising? Yep. No frickin' way. No.
Yep. I can understand like mealworm being ground up. You know, I can live with that. I can even live with cockroaches being ground up. Maggots? Nope. Hell no. That's too far.
Wait a minute. You know what? I'm not coming to your house and you say, hey, Dee, here's a sandwich for lunch. No.
No, I said I can understand it. I'm not going to do that if there's other options available.
Well, I'm just saying. Now I got to verify when I go to somebody's house to eat lunch. Let me see the bread wrapper.
What if it's homemade bread?
Yeah, right. Ugh.
No, I can understand, like, again, in certain circumstances, yeah, great protein. And if I was out in the middle of the woods and I needed something to eat, you bet that I'm going to be swallowing bugs whole. I'm not going to be chewing on them, but it's protein.
Well, yeah, that's like the survivalist stories, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I could totally see myself doing it.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, but on a daily basis, just to save the planet from so-called climate change.
So we're going to cause the cows to go extinct because they fart too much.
Right.
Then you're going to get PETA all over you.
Right.
Oh, you can't do that. Those poor animals. Well, we can't leave them to run wild, uncontrolled. We can't have them for food because y'all complain. You know, there's a thing called middle ground, and these idiots just cannot find it.
Middle ground.
Let PETA and the climate activists duke it out. How's that?
Well, that's
no, they can have Greenpeace stand in the middle to moderate it.
Oh, that's going to be, then we're going to be into the cockroach, maggot, grasshopper. Ugh. I'll have to, no way.
You'll have to know. Like I said, I'm not going to do this for like a everyday part of my life type of food, but if it really came down to it, yeah, I could see me doing survivalist things. But no, I don't want it in my everyday food.
That I'm
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're not alone. I mean, you're not alone on that one.
Even the fact that so many bug parts are permitted in the food as is, I find it truly disgusting the amount of body parts that are accepted.
Yep.
It just seems to me to be extensive. You know, like here's so many legs, here's so many heads. No wonder why I'm sick. It's from all the bugs. Oh shit. You know, you add them all up, it's lucky we don't turn into bug people,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I don't want to eat bugs because it's an everyday thing to save the climate. Sorry.
Right,
No.
right.
Never gonna happen.
And you know damn well that those people will not, you know, like Gavin Newsom is not going to be eating a bug bread or drinking maggot milk or whatever, right?
Oh no, they'll do what the Obama did in Flint. Pretend to drink the water
Uh huh.
and then go back to what they were originally supposed to do.
Exactly. Right.
Oh yeah. Been there. Watched that actually. As it happened, and I was in a patient's home and she had it on the news, and I watched that and I'm like, bullshit.
Right.
She said
Right.
bullshit. The doctor said, that ain't Flint water. I promise you he ain't drinking that.
Right.
Oh
All
yeah.
right.
Should have heard us. That was a fun day. And I was again, we could have taken a break on lunch to go see the president, but none of us wanted to do anything with Obama. Obama was a piece of crap.
Right. Okay. What do we got up next?
Okay, now we have this article, the annual inflation. Um, Let me enlarge this so you
So I
see.
can read it? Okay.
Oh, that too. There's the too long didn't read, the TLDR, which sums
I
it up.
think,
Well, you can read the
I
whole
think, well, I gave you two pieces. Did you pull the other uh, video or just
thing.
one?
I only got this one about the inflation, and the video's in it, so I can
Oh,
just hit
right.
play.
I think the video covers it the best. And we have a lot to cover today. And since we wasted over 38 minutes,
Oh,
uh,
that was me still trying to get videos into the right thing so I could
I,
share them properly, and
yeah, and I'm
that
having
was my problem. I
and
thought
I'm
I only
having
needed to do the
baby
one
issues. So what do you?
videos.
I'm
Yep.
having baby issues. What are you talking about?
You're
So
having baby issues. I'm having tech issues.
okay,
That's
so
why I messed
we're
up.
just fucked up today. So
Yes,
it's
we
is it
are.
Monday? But by any chance, it feels like it. So the article will be in the description below. But
Yes.
this is in particular for Art, who
Who's not
thought
here
that
yet,
we,
or is just listening in the background, which
yeah, he
happens
may
too.
be, but this is pulled particularly for him. So go ahead and hit play when you're ready, Crazy Bee.
I clicked watch now. What's going on?
Don't know.
Oh, come on. Really? You're going to do this to me? It won't let me play it. We're going to
Okay,
have to read.
back the truck up then. Is this where it starts?
Yeah, this is where the article starts.
Gotcha. Good afternoon, people. Thank you for holding. One moment, please. Can you enlarge it, Crazy Bee? Just a tad.
Yes, I can. Is that better? Or a little
Uh,
more?
it's a little bit more. It looks
What-
okay. There you go. That looks good.
All right.
Inflation was slightly lower than expected in April as President Donald Trump's tariffs just began hitting the slowing U.S. economy, according to a Labor Department report Tuesday. I'm thinking Thursday already. The Consumer Price Index, which measures the cost for a broad range of goods and services, rose a seasonally adjusted 2% for the month, putting the 12-month okay JJ putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.3%, its lowest since February 2021, meaning he kicked Biden's ass. The Bureau of Labor Statistics said the monthly reading was in line with the Dow Jones consensus estimate, while the 12-month was a bit below the forecast for 2.4%. Excluding volatile food and energy prices, the core CPI also increased 0.2% for the month, while the year-over-year level was 2.8%. The forecast was 4.3% and 2.8% respectively.
There's a nice little chart.
Yes.
And
The monthly readings were a bit higher than in March, though price increases remain well off their highs of 3 years ago. That would have been when Trump was in office. Markets reacted little to the news, with stock futures pointing flat to slightly lower and Treasury yields mixed. Good news on inflation, and we need it given inflation shocks from tariffs are on their way, said Robert Frick, corporate economist at the Navy Federal Credit Union. Non-tariffed goods are still in the pipeline, and perhaps some importers have absorbed their tariff costs for now. Close those eyes. You're sleepy.
just put
Go to
2
sleep.
quarters, one on each eye. It'll weigh him
You're,
down so they can't open his eyes.
do I get to tape them shut?
Sorry, I'll behave.
Any ideas? Throw them this way. U.S. Consumer Price Index, month-to-month percent change. You'll see January of 2021 through 23.
Ooh.
There's a nice little chart, and
Yeah,
that's
it
from
is
the.
dropping.
Wonder why. After posting a 2.4% slide in March, energy prices rebounded with a 0.7% gain. Food saw a 0.1% decline. Used vehicle prices saw their second straight drop, down 0.5%, while new vehicles were flat. Apparel costs also were off 0.2%, though medical care services increased 0.5%. Health insurance increased 0.4%, while motor vehicle insurance was up 0.6%. That's interesting. Two things I would say is health care. Thank you, Obamacare. That has increased every single year.
It'll
And
never go back to where it was.
never. And I'm curious as to why automobile insurance has increased. We need to check.
All those foreigners that have been given the license for no
True.
particular reason.
Exactly.
I
I
don't want to
forgot.
sound racist, but they don't know how to drive in America, and they were just given a license,
Mm-hmm.
and it is jacking up our rates.
That's correct. I forgot about that. Thank you, Crazy Bee.
You're very welcome.
Eggs. Oh, eggs tumbled. Humpty Dumpty.
12.7.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, and he fell 12.7%, although they're still up by 49.3% from a year ago. That's absolutely ridiculous.
We usually buy our eggs like 60 at a time because we go through a lot of eggs.
Right.
And usually we would get them for like $10, 10 to 15, and then it spiked to 20. They're down back again to like 17 or 18, but
Our
it's almost back to what it used to be.
Well, ours were at $10 for 60, and they went almost $30 for 60, and they're back down to 10.
Okay.
And if those damn chickens don't lay this year, well, They're going to become dog food, I think. With the increase in CPI, real average hourly earnings were flat for the month and up 1.4% from a year ago. While the April CPI figures were relatively tame, the Trump tariffs remain a wild card in the inflation picture, depending on where negotiations go between now and the summer. In his much awaited Liberation Day announcement, Trump slapped 10% duties on all U.S. imports and said he intended to put additional reciprocal tariffs on trading partners. Recently, though, Trump has backed off his position, with the most dramatic development a 90-day stay on aggressive tariffs against China while the two sides enter further negotiations. Economists figure that even with the ending of the 145% reciprocal tariffs against China, inflation numbers could perk up again in the summer months, though the degree to which that will happen is an open question. Trump left in place the across-the-board tariffs. Overall, there was no sign of the tariff impact in the April CPI, although we expect higher tariffs will likely exert upward pressures on core CPI starting in May. Weakening of consumer demand and inventory drawdown might mitigate the inflationary pressure, Nomura economist Achi
That
said
name.
in a note. Markets expect the president's softening position to lead to loss of a chance of interest rate cuts this year. Traders have been expecting the Federal Reserve to start easing in June, with at least 3 total reductions likely this year. Since the China developments, the markets. Hold on, give me 1 second. Since the China developments, the market has pushed out the first cut to September, with just 2 likely this year, as the central bank feels less pressure to support the economy and as inflation has held above the Fed's 2% target now for more than 4 years. The Fed relies more on the Commerce Department's inflation gauge for policymaking, though the CPI figures into that index. The BLS on Thursday will release its April reading on producer prices, which is seen as more of a leading indicator on inflation. So we need to probably pull the labor statistics stuff later on for maybe next Tuesday. Okay.
Okay.
Overall, there was no sign of the tariff impact in the April CPI. Although we expect higher tariffs will likely exert upward pressures. I think I read
Oh,
that
well, the
already.
article was done.
Oh, well, what do you,
I rolled it back to the top. I was rolling it back to the top
you
because
know
we
what,
were done reading it.
I'm gonna roll you, girl. You feel like being rolled today? I'm like, what the
As
heck
long
is
as you
that?
roll me to a better vacation place than my bedroom.
I hear you.
I have a wheelchair.
Right?
I will let you roll me anywhere.
Shit. One wheelchair to another.
Uh,
Too funny. You can't make
our
this
next.
up.
Oh no, we can never make this shit up. It is too funny.
Uh-huh.
Um, but this next video we're going to cover is a really quick short. This Clueless activist, I guess, learns a lesson according to this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what it says.
not prepared for this.
You want to end all plastic manufacturing?
I said the plastics industry must be stopped.
What's going to replace your glasses? They're made of plastic.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know what they're made out
They
of.
are. Your water bottle in front of you.
No,
The lid is. That's plastic. Your cell phone there.
the cases.
The components made out of it's not plastic. They are. Where'd you fill that water bottle up?
Water filling station.
It was delivered by a drink station that was plastic.
I didn't check.
The edges are. The piping coming to it. Now, you have a couple of choices with the piping. We could go back to using wood, but then you have to line it in chemical. Or we could go back and use lead. That was harmful. We go back to galvanized, but galvanized rust and had discoloration. We go back to copper, but copper has to be mined, and everybody wants to stop mining in the U.S. The clothes you have on, I guarantee have plastic in it. The soles of those shoes are plastic. So we talk about Indian plastic manufacturing, and everybody in here cheers when you say that, but everybody here is depending on plastic. So if you want to end it, then quit using it.
This activist was not prepared.
Yeah, I love the way he just did that. That is the quickest way to teach an activist they're an idiot.
It's an example of not being able to do your research before you're going to testify, especially before Congress.
Yep.
Because
yeah.
you know that somebody will have their stuff together. Oh, I know what his problem is. His legs are hanging over the couch. I think he thinks he's falling off the edge. Why are those jalapeno poppers calling me still?
I'm not sure, but they are. And that does sound good. You need to send me a couple.
I'll eat a couple for you if I could get up and get them.
I'm going to have to see if I can get someone to go to the store and buy some. Because that sounds really good right now. You have no idea.
Yeah, I initially thought they were nasty.
Oh no, I love jalapeno poppers.
No, and Eric was eating them, and I'm like, I saw them sitting over there by his chair, and I'm like, wonder what these taste like. And I went, uh-oh. And then I took the bag off of them. And he's like, what happened to the bag of jalapeno poppers? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, perhaps the dog took it. I don't know. So.
Oh yeah, blame the dog. At least you didn't tell him it was me.
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Did you put them back in the kitchen? Did they go back in the pantry? I don't know what you did with them. I wasn't in that living room, that day. Yeah, I was in the bedroom. Remember, dead from watching the kid.
No, nope. You don't get to do that.
Yeah, but the thing is there's only half a bag left. And I perhaps might be able to eat the half a bag before he gets home.
Oh, that's not nice. Now, come on. You're going to do that to him?
Yeah, but seriously, he would be disappointed if there was only like a quarter of the bag left. I mean, wouldn't you be? Like if
yeah, but I'd probably eat the bag in one day, and then my kids would be fighting me for it.
Well, I'd have half the bag, and then I'd hide the other half somewhere. Like behind the cupboard or somewhere in the closet. I'd put it in a place that he wouldn't be likely to go to. I guess I'm just gonna.
But wouldn't it go bad?
I don't care. Stale ones are the best. Just like stale peas.
Oh, you know what you could do? Put the frozen ones, like you empty out save a bag from frozen vegetables.
Right.
And then tie it shut like you only used half, but put the jalapeno poppers in it.
That's
the ones you don't want yet, that you haven't eaten yet. And that way, I've seen people do that with like their candy bars. They'll hide their candy bars in a bag of vegetables in the fridge. In the freezer, so the kids can't get them.
Yeah, see, I'm not devious like that.
I am.
I don't think of shit like that. I'm like,
Oh, I most certainly am.
Yeah, I need to start. Okay, everybody, so we're moving the brat. We're going to see if, oh, I don't know, the eyes are open in a slit. He looks like an alien. I'm sorry to say.
Aww.
I'm in trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. I know I am. And the problem
Well,
is, I've been sitting here for so long. I don't know if I
getting
can get
up's
up
gonna
or
hurt.
I don't know if I can get up or not. Like,
Oh,
it's
I
not
know the
like I could get
feeling.
up and run to grab them, right?
Uh
I'm
huh.
I'm stuck, like bent in half from
Yep.
sitting here for so long.
That's like me. Every time I got to get up to go to the bathroom or anything from the
Yeah.
kitchen, it takes a good few steps before I can even stand
Uh,
upright. So with each step, I'm lifting my back a little more, so
yes.
I'm not bent forward.
Yes. Exactly. You're not kidding. And
I
then,
know what it's like. I feel like Quasimodo trying to straighten
uh-huh.
his back.
And then my left arm is completely numb because he's been laying on it all day. Okay, here we go. Or maybe I could just slide my arm on it. Okay, the arm is out. And do something crazy, B. You know, entertain the
Yep.
audience while I'm gone. I shall return.
No.
Please hold 1 moment, please. Please hold.
I am not that entertaining.
Well, pull up an article and read
Okay,
it.
I'll pull up the next video. How's
There
that?
you go. That'd be nice. Entertain the
Well,
audience.
oh, fine. I'll do it. Whatever.
Okay,
Okay.
whatever.
Cash Patel had was talking about J6, and this video is a little bit of a collage of videos they threw together, and we'll see what it is. I only edited it. I didn't really watch the whole thing, so let's find out.
Conspiracy theories still swirl around the January 6 Capitol Hill riots, even 4 years later. But FBI Director Kash Patel says he's ready to provide a definitive answer to one of the event's most pressing questions. People have been asking whether the FBI had sources, not agents, but sources, on the ground during January 6th. Patel said in an exclusive interview on Special Report Wednesday, "I told you I'd get you the definitive answer, and I have. We're now working with our partners to release that information. It's coming." Patel said the answer might shock people. "What we've learned contradicts what past FBI leaders have told the public," he said. Last year, Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz released a report on the FBI's use of confidential human sources and its intelligence gathering ahead of the January 6, 2021 electoral certification. The report revealed that 26 confidential human sources were in the crowd outside the Capitol that day. Only 3 were sent by the FBI. The report emphasized that none of the sources were authorized or instructed to break the law or incite illegal activity. Of the 3 FBI-assigned sources, 1 entered the Capitol building, while the other 2 moved into the restricted area surrounding it. According to protocol, the FBI pays sources when it directs them to attend specific events. Before this report came out in December 2024, then FBI Director Christopher Wray testified before Congress. Patel criticized Wray for dodging questions. "It shouldn't take endless congressional hearings to get a straight answer," Patel said. "If Congress asks whether FBI sources were present at the Capitol on January 6th, the FBI director should know and answer clearly. No deflecting, no DC spin." Since taking over the FBI, Patel says he's made transparency and public trust top priorities. "Americans deserve answers," he said. He also told Special Report host Brett Baier that more answers are on the way. That includes updates on several ongoing investigations. The pipe bombs found outside the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 5th, the cocaine discovered in the White House during President Biden's term, and the origins of the FBI's Trump-Russia probe. known as Crossfire Hurricane.
Okay. So there were informants throughout the crowds, and they were probably riling things up, even though the FBI claims they didn't tell them to, which I find to be utter BS. Actually, I think I have the sound for that. Let me find it. Where is it? Oh yeah, right here.
Bullshit.
There. Yeah, that one. Uh huh. I call BS on that nonsense. I really do. So next on the list, and I'm gonna do my best to read this. It's not long, but yeah, we know me. Me and the tongue twisters of modern English. Oh, that is still small. What the fudge? Okay, that's a little bit better. So, Grassley exposes a Biden Harris backlog of criminal complaints in unaccompanied migrant children, and it should be immigrant children. Migrant refers to the fact they would go back. Immigrant means they intend to stay. They are using the wrong phrasing here. This word right here is the difference between propaganda and facts. Most people don't know that. So, the Biden Harris administration ignored or dismissed over 65,000 reports regarding immigrant children. I'm going to refer to it as immigrant children, screw their terrible propaganda, including over 7,300 reports of human trafficking. Butler County, Iowa. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley today released a Department of Health and Human Services summary revealing thousands of concerning reports were identified in the Biden-Harris administration's unaccompanied alien children's program. Oh, I hear JJ. Hey, chill out, buddy. It's all good. But left unresolved, including cases of potential trafficking and fraud. The Trump administration is now working to process 65,605 reports concerning immigrant children, which were ignored or dismissed during the previous administration. These reports include 56,591 notifications of concern and the 7,346 reports of human trafficking and 1,688 fraud leads. In a little over 100 days, the Trump administration has processed over 28% of the Biden-Harris backlog, resulting in 528 investigative leads, 36 investigations accepted for prosecution by the U.S. Attorney, 7 indictments, 25 arrest warrants, and 11 arrests and 3 convictions. That's pretty damn good in that short period of time.
Yes, it is.
Holy cow, they are really kicking butt.
And so what is Biden doing?
Letting these kids be abused and trafficked and possibly killed.
Correct.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm sorry, and this is very difficult to say, but they're still illegal aliens.
Oh, yeah. That's why I won't call them migrants.
Right.
Migrants imply they intend to go back. These
Right.
people had no intentions to go back to their home country after a season or two.
Correct. But I'm talking about the children as well.
Well, the children are dragged on purpose, and half of them are put to work or
Right.
used for inappropriate things, activities.
I agree. But somehow
I have zero patience for that stuff.
I agree. Something has to be done to stop that. And I mean,
Yes, something definitely needs to stop it.
And there was what, over 300,000? Was it 330,000 that were missing? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And where are they at? And why doesn't
God alone knows.
Yeah, and why doesn't anybody give a shit about it? where they're at.
Oh, why?
You know,
Because they're the forgotten victims of a
yeah,
bad
right.
administration.
So I'm going to tell you guys a story that I want you to think about. Every time you hear about a woman that's trafficked, a woman that's kidnapped, or whatever, there was a real story that they found her, thank God, but a guy kept her in a box that
Hmm.
fit underneath his bed on wheels, and she had barely enough room to breathe. And she
Yep.
urinated and defecated, and he did not feed her. And when he felt like abusing her, he took her out of that locked box. That story has haunted me from the time I've heard it and from the time they caught that fucking monster till today. When I think about what they've done to trafficked children, trafficked women, trafficked boys, it doesn't matter. That story stays in my head of just how perverted are people. People are sick.
Yeah.
I'll refrain from swearing. People are really sick. And to know that this type of stuff happens, right, to children, to women, is just absolutely appalling. So
It is.
when you hear this kind of stuff, I want you to think about this story that is a true story about the woman that was kept in the box under his bed, and have some sympathy, I guess, some rage, some outrage, some anger for what's going on, for whatever administration is in office to
Hmm.
do something about things. Hey, beautiful, what's up? Oh, you came to get your brother, did you? Huh? I'm doing my podcast. Say hello. That's Crazy Bee. Nothing came for you today. You ready to take your son? All right. Here. You want the bottle too? I just made it. No. All right, baby.
uh,
Ew. What do you
but
mean?
I'm going to
Ew. Give
let
me a
you guys
kiss.
read the article on your own if you so choose. There's only a paragraph and it's just
Yeah.
his letter
Give
spearheading
me a kiss.
it
Love you.
while she's getting that taken care
Oh my
of.
God.
However,
Love you.
Grassley also
Love
uncovered
you.
another
See you in the
whole
morning.
circumstance. And I will let Dee go through this when she's as soon as she's done. But
Okay.
this is what could happen to your genetic data after 23andMe is bankruptcy. There's some privacy concerns about your DNA and what are
Yeah.
they doing with it if they go under.
Phew.
So
I'm back. I'm free. I'm
I
free. I'm free. I'm free till
figured you would want to read this article
I'm
because
free till 7:45 a.m. tomorrow. Now I can go die on my bed. Oh Lord, help me. This is
okay.
this is I was doing some research and I came across the Senate Judiciary. Oh, now here we go.
Judiciary.
Now I'm tired. Thank you, Crazy Bee. Uh, Section of the government, and they have various bills that they're working on or that they're passing through their committee to go to uh, the General Senate, or to be worked on with Congress people. So I would suggest, if you're interested, I bookmarked this page, and you'll probably see us from time to time pull this up. There's two of them we actually have, and this one is interesting because I had which one? There's 23andMe. Which other ones are there, Crazy Bee? Uh,
Um, I
yeah.
cannot remember. There's a
What are
couple companies out there
Yeah?
that do it.
What's the biggest one though?
The 23andMe, I believe, was the largest
No,
one.
No, there's the other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
Anybody in the chat remember what the biggest one is? It is, yeah. hmm You know, the thing.
Hold on. The AncestryDNA.com.
It's Ancestry.com.
Family Tree has one.
Yeah.
23andMe.
It's
Genome
Ancestry.
Link. Yep.
It's the Ancestry one. Okay, so the consumer, this is a new bill that they're going to try to pass. The consumer's genetic data after 23andMe bankruptcy sparks privacy concerns. The Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley joined Senators John Cronin and Amy Klobuchar, Democrat, to introduce the Don't Sell My DNA Act to safeguard consumers' sensitive genetic data during corporate bankruptcy proceedings. The Don't Sell My DNA Act strengthens consumer privacy protections by modernizing the bankruptcy code to include genetic information in the definition of personally identifiable information, requiring written notice and affirmative consumer consent prior to the use, sale, or lease of genetic information during bankruptcy proceedings, and requiring the trustee or debtor in possession of genetic information to permanently delete any data not subject to a sale or lease. Consumers should feel confident that any personal information shared with a public company isn't up for grabs when that company files for bankruptcy, Grassley said. This bill would fill gaps in current law to help safeguard consumers' genetic information and ensure Americans' DNA isn't treated like any other financial asset. Advances in DNA testing have allowed Americans to have unprecedented access to important insights about their genetics, but these companies must have a plan to protect this data in the event of bankruptcy, Cornyn said. By updating the bankruptcy code, this legislation would safeguard Americans' sensitive genetic information to ensure it cannot be weaponized against them or made public without their knowledge and consent. For too long, companies have profited off of Americans' data while consumers have been left in the dark, which is especially concerning in light of reports that 23andMe plans to sell customer genetic data assets to a large pharmaceutical company, Klobuchar said. This bill would put new protections in place to safeguard Americans' privacy while giving consumers greater control over how their sensitive health data is shared. Now, we'll leave the rest of, there's
Yep.
audio and some, additional information regarding this. I have a huge problem with the bill in general.
I do too.
I don't think it goes far enough.
It
This is
doesn't.
so bizarre that, Eric had bought for me the Ancestry one, and that
Mm-hmm.
sat on my shelf for 5 years, and I never did the test. And at first, I think it came out that the data was being sold to China, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
And then
it was.
there's this information now that it's being sold. And as they said, your information, one, is being sold, and you're not being given any return on the sale of your information. You're
Uh-huh.
receiving no, you don't even get a penny on what's being sold. You don't know who it's going to, who's buying it, and what they plan to do with it. Um, those are the types of questions that I have, that I don't think it goes far enough, that this act should be, I don't know, there should be, in my opinion, given what happened with China, who basically has data on everything about us anyway. But with that being said, when you're doing the genetics portion of it, I think we should have laws in place that protect the consumer from anybody being able to grab the information.
Yeah.
I mean, why should any other company get your genetic markers? The other thing about this is, who else can use this data? Who's the bigger?
That's a good question. And
Yeah,
like they're saying in here, they want to sell it to a pharmaceutical company.
yeah. And you know who else could get their hands on it? Is your health insurance company. And
And
yeah.
anyone who wants to target with bioweapons.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay with it. Not okay at all.
So, as much as I would like to know, well, here's what's interesting. I have to go through some genetic testing.
But it's being done by a doctor's office with a reputable
Right.
lab.
But that doesn't mean that that's not going to go somewhere else, right? Right?
Most of those labs for the medical genetic testing, specifically done by insurances and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they destroy the samples afterwards,
And
and
that's something
any
when
results
yeah.
will be deleted after 7 years.
And I'll have to, after, when I meet with those doctors, I'll have to find out the answer to that. And I'll let you guys know. Regardless, I'm doing it for the future of my family. Uh, although, what impact would it have on them conceivably? If they know that their mother or their grandmother had X, Y, or Z, right? Could somebody use that against them in some way going forward? That potentially could occur from an insurance standpoint, health insurance.
Hmm.
So that this is a hard one. I had been asked to do this about 3 years ago, and I just sat on it. And now I've been asked to do it again more recently in order to see if we could find anything out. And
And you
I
won't
feel
be helping just your family, but other people with similar genetics.
correct. And that was my rationale for doing it, right? That I would be able to help them in some form or fashion. But is this going to be used against them in any way? And there's a
It
potential.
shouldn't, but that's always an up for
Right,
grabs thing.
right. That's what I don't like. But, I can't. I'm going to go through with it just because if I can save them from what I am going through, and as you said, Crazy Bee, others, then I feel that it's the right thing to do. So, it's a suck it up, buttercup kind of thing.
Yep. That really is the best way to do it, is get
Yeah.
it over with.
And
And
I'll just
tough.
like if you're suggesting that they keep it around 7 years, I'll ask them about it. And then if they say, yeah, it's 7 years, I'll just have to mark it on my calendar and for 7 years out and call them and say, when was my sample destroyed?
Or when will it be destroyed?
Okay,
That's a better one.
okay,
Yep. And
all
hi,
right.
Art.
Hey,
He's over
Art,
here. And if you want cliff notes, they will be in the description at the end of the video.
there you go. You can do the next one, Crazy Bee. Why I eat
Next one is
before Eric comes home. I have to devour these jalapeno poppers.
yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Representative Omar is having a fit because SNAP benefits are being cut across the board for people who have the ability to work but choose to be lazy and not work and just mooch off the government. Um, Again, for a lot of people who there was a lot of people freaking out about this. They're like, "Well, I'm wheelchair bound. I need these benefits. I need to live in Section 8 because I can't work." No one said able disabled people have to. They said abled body people who are dependent on the system will now have to go get a job. It's not going to impact disabled people. And I've explained this to a few of them. I'm like, you're good. If you're wheelchair bound and you're on benefits, they're not going to come after you. You're set.
I do find it interesting, though, that are they just cutting the benefits right at the knee, or are they giving them a time period to find a job?
It's going to be, well, some of it is going to be cut straight up. And the rest will be a taper system, I guess, is the way they were, when I heard them talking about it. Is they're trying to enforce, because almost every state has a time limit, and then you have to renew your benefits. It's usually a year, and you have
Hmm.
to renew yearly. And these people have to also, because they did this in Michigan, where if you are on benefits but you are able-bodied, male or female, doesn't matter, to keep getting benefits, you have to either put forth an effort to get a job or hold a job. But as you're holding the job, they cut the benefits. So, like, let's say when you start, you get $800 in food stamps because you're not working. But as you're working and your hours increase and your money increases, they drop it down to like 700 and then
Right,
600, then 500 to get you weaned off of the system.
right.
Yes, but there was a point in time in Michigan where they just cut it completely. They're like,
But
"Oh, you got a job? Okay, bye."
that's the question that I have for those that are not working at all. Are they just going whap and it's over and the fat lady is sung?
And yeah, that's what they did in some cases, but in other cases, it was a tapered. Art says, anyone else remember having to provide evidence of actually looking for work
Yes.
to continue getting unemployment?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And that's what they're also starting to do
Mm-hmm.
now with the food benefits and
And
the
you
SNAP
had,
and Medicaid.
yeah, and you had to list the name of the employer, who you talked
They
to,
would call.
address, telephone number, and you had to have, I believe, it was 5 per week that you had to list,
Minimum.
minimum of 5 per week. And good afternoon, Art. I'm extremely disappointed that you were late today because
He
there
was
was,
listening.
was he listening? I didn't catch that part
He
because there
says,
was,
"Been listening, LOL," in his last
okay,
comment.
all right, because you missed that good information from the CPI and all that happy horse shit.
The
So,
inflation going
yeah,
down better than
yes.
expected.
Mm-hmm. And Jeannie, welcome. Nice to see you here.
Yep. So it looks like 90,000 Omar's district sees 90,000 on SNAP. How many are here legally? DC elites cry cruelty when asked to follow the law, but real cruelty is bankrupting our nation to fund foreign freeloaders. Amen. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have known people who came here and the first thing they did after getting their legal citizenship is the people who can work go ahead and start working, but they let their parents and other people who are disabled draw off of social security benefits, or and they also get disability benefits from the country they originally lived in. That's when they hold dual citizenship. They will have money from multiple places coming in.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting.
It's Oh, and I really love the ones where they come here as foreigners and get 7 years of free business, no taxes. And as soon as their 7 years is up, they change ownership to another family member to get 7 more years tax free. And it keeps going on for about 3 or 4 different levels,
Wow.
and sometimes
I'm
permanently.
I'm so stupid when it comes to stuff like that. I never Like, how
Oh,
do
I
you,
didn't even think about it until I heard it.
yeah,
Someone was
like,
explaining the system.
uh-huh. How do you do it? You know what I mean? Just, I'm clueless when it comes to that stuff.
Yep,
And I'm
foreigners
always
get
like,
7 years tax free, but Americans are taxed to death from the beginning.
right.
I think it should be the other way around. Just saying.
I agree.
But I get they want incentive to bring foreigners here, so okay, give them 3 years tax free, not 7. Give Americans 7 years.
But I thought when they came here, they were supposed to be able to provide for themselves.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't ever happen.
Well,
You should have a job lined up before you move to a country.
mm,
That's
true.
just my thoughts. Why move there and take
Well,
your merry old time getting a job and mooch off of the system that helps you? I mean, come on.
we'll be finding out those when we have to answer those questions, citizenship questions.
Yeah, that'll be entertaining.
Uh-huh. We'll see if
I think
we'll have
our crowd will do
wait.
pretty
We'll
good.
have
Our
nobody
crowd's
in the
pretty well educated.
we'll have nobody in the audience that day.
Oh no, I think we will. I think it'll go good.
Okay. We'll see.
So, on to the next topic. We
Wait a
have
minute, back the truck up.
okay.
She did a whole nasty ass video.
Not in here.
You don't have anything for me about her?
Oh, it won't play
Oh, why?
because the internet, this browser that the actual studio works on doesn't communicate well with the videos because of Linux, but I can't share them with the audio on the other browser that does work. It's
Hmm.
the joys of switching over to Linux.
Okay, we'll have to talk about how we're gonna.
I didn't realize there was a video attached to this because you sent this bottom part. I did not realize it was attached to a video.
But I thought I also sent a separate video where she's like freaking out at her community center, and there was a discussion where she talked about Americans and then switched up the name to people, and she did a whole play on words. I'll find it. We'll look at it.
Yeah, if you find it, we can share it tomorrow or
Okay.
next Tuesday.
All right, no problem.
I
And
did not
again, for
realize
those,
this was attached to a
yes,
video.
yeah, just in case for those joining us late, we were experiencing technical difficulties. So, one moment, please. Please hold. Crazy.
Joys of switching from Linux
Uh-huh.
from Windows to Linux.
Yeah.
I'm still getting the learning curve through, but it's better than being power stalked by the computer companies.
Uh-oh. Eric's coming home, and I don't have the pepper poppers gone. I'm gonna. I'm gonna hide them under the baby's blanket. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm going to hit play on this
Mm-hmm.
one. This is pertaining to that gentleman in Boulder, Colorado, who thought it was a great idea to throw Molotov cocktails, I believe, at protesters. So let's see what's going on. I have 3 videos to cover the whole thing.
As far as the investigation itself, we're still trying to verify and confirm some video, but it appears to show a significant portion of the incident as it happened. There's an individual that's taken into custody. He's a white male. Whether or not that's the person that police ultimately arrested and will ultimately charge in this crime, a bit of a question at this time, but that's just what we've seen so far.
Okay, that's that first video. Here's the second one.
One moment, please. We're waiting for the second video.
Oh shit! I forgot to hit change tab. Oh my god. Sorry.
One
Thank
moment,
you.
please. Crazy
Got it.
B. Crazy B is experiencing technical difficulties.
Crazy B is experiencing brain difficulties today.
Uh-oh.
Here we are.
Hey,
Here's
babe.
the video.
Huh?
Federal
Where's
authorities.
what?
Oh,
The baby's gone. Well, you know, we were cold. What can I tell you? Anyway, the
all
baby
right. I'm going to
blanket
hit
thing.
play.
The baby blanket thing worked.
Okay. Glad it did.
Federal authorities releasing the charges for the man accused of setting 8 people on fire in that targeted terror attack in Boulder, Colorado. Officials say he's now being charged with a hate crime that's federally. And this is what they found. They found at least 14 unlit Molotov cocktails on his person, along with that makeshift flamethrower. The Molotovs comprised of glass wine carafe bottles or ball jars containing clear liquid and red rags hanging out of the bottles. He made these himself. In fact, it says that he researched on YouTube how to do this. And later, during an interview with the officials, the suspect stated outright, and he's talking, he stated he wanted to, quote, kill all Zionist people and wished they were all dead. He also stated that he would do it again. Emily, he also said during this interview he specifically targeted the Zionist group that had gathered in Boulder. He knew they planned to meet that day, Sunday at 1 p.m. He arrived at 12:55 and waited for them.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The amount of hate that's going around on the internet is just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
I I don't understand why and where it's coming from. I think that
I can tell you where it's coming from. It's coming from the governments that want to destabilize their own people and take over. It's literally.
what do you mean?
Again, this guy was from Egypt. It turns out he's from Egypt. Egypt does not like Israel.
Right.
Israel, and Egypt doesn't like Palestine either, by the way. They don't
Right.
like either of them. So this guy just absolutely grew up hating Israel. It's taught to be a common thing. It's like how here in America, white people are always the bad guy, and how dare they, and we should all be disappeared, and whatever else that they push. It's no different than what we see about Ukraine with Russia and Russia hating Ukraine. I mean, you should see what goes on in India between the Muslims and the non-Muslims, the Buddhists.
Right.
There have been acid attacks left, right, and center on random people in India. They're the regular standard Buddhist Indian, and the Muslim Indians will come up and just start throwing battery acid or whatever acid they can get their hands on the people's faces. This has been going on for almost 5 years that I know of. Nobody talks about it.
And
Nothing's ever done, and they're rarely ever caught or punished for it.
And it's not stopped because why?
How many people are in India?
Right.
And and again, you're talking a massive quantity of people in a city, but out in the basic rainforests of India, good luck finding them. That's why they can't do much about it. It's almost impossible to find them in India.
Mm-hmm.
It really does suck. And then you have corrupt government officials there, and it's the same thing.
Well,
This is again where there's so much radicalized behavior in all these nations just because people are stupid.
Well, let's talk about what's going on in the United States.
A lot. Take your pick at what's going on. I mean, as much as America is a melting pot of the world, along came the hatred and extremists. We have a little bit of everything here.
I agree.
It's a small population, but they start to contradict themselves at points too.
Right.
Don't be racist and bigoted unless it's against Israel or the white people or this specific group. Don't be this way about this specific group, but it's okay to do that on a different one. No, that's what we call hypocrisy. And you're a dumbass and you're contradicting yourself because you're supposed to be the group that is like love and peace. Right. Take a flying leap. I ain't got time for your bullshit.
Don't you think that some of it is intentionally?
Oh yeah, the governments have intentionally let this shit go
Right,
wild.
right. I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. I
And
100% agree with it.
then you have, wow, I don't want to get down that path again. I'm not ready to talk about that. I don't want to
Yeah.
start something that hasn't yet begun. But it is concerning, I think, of some of the stuff that I think we're going to see forthcoming. Let's just leave it at that for now.
Yep. I
I'm
agree.
worried about what's going to happen in the next several months or so. Go lay down. Go. You're next. Do you need a bottle too? Go.
Art's got a good point.
Which
Mass
is
formation psychosis might explain what's happening in the US. We may have only shifted the focus away from COVID.
okay. Hold on.
People like this. I still have to say, I think it's a lot government pushed, and it's to keep people distracted from what they're doing behind the scenes.
Well,
That is bad for their countries.
who are you saying is distracted?
All the civilians of all these countries where all this hate stuff is going on.
Well, I also think it's a distraction from what is really going on in government.
No, that's what I just said. The
Okay.
government is using this so they can do what they
So they can,
want
okay.
without us
I
focusing on
misunderstood
them.
what you were saying.
Yeah.
Because, remember, I'm in baby brain, so your brain isn't working and I'm in baby brain, so.
It's a great day, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Wonderful day.
There's one more video on this guy from Colorado. He is in custody. Let's see what they have to say.
I'm able to confirm there are 6 victims, ages 67 to 88. All of them have been transported to local hospitals. This attack happened at a regularly scheduled weekly peaceful event. Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. The suspect was heard to yell, "Free Palestine," during the attack. The subject has been identified as Mohammed Sabri Solomon, and he's 45 years old. The FBI is processing the crime scene and the subject vehicle and interviewing key witnesses. We're assisting Boulder Police in providing technical, analytic, and additional forensic resources. As a result of these preliminary facts, it is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism.
Yep, as it should be.
I
As
have
it should be.
I have this. This was a protest, correct?
Yes, it was a routine weekly protest, very peaceful every week. These people do not do anything wrong, and this guy went and threw Molotov cocktails at him and had a makeshift flamethrower.
I just have the stupidest of questions. I'm afraid to even ask it. Should I
Go
ask
ahead and
it?
ask.
Should I
Yeah.
ask it? I'm afraid to.
Well, don't be afraid. What am I going to do?
Okay. What is an 88-year-old doing out protesting?
I don't know.
Come on.
I'm not in their mind, and I'm not an activist, so I have no
No,
clue.
neither am I, but come on. Really? Knowing that there's potential for violence? Come on.
Well, no, they've been doing this peacefully for some time. This
Yes,
is
but
something
that
that they
doesn't
thought was
matter.
gonna go like
There's
every other
still,
week.
that doesn't matter, Crazy B. There's still a potential. Get down off of there.
Off
There
of
is
where? I'm
still a
sitting on my bed.
there is still a potential for violence.
I don't
There's
know.
still a potential for some crazy to, drive
Well,
their
we
car
still haven't
through.
confirmed that the persons were involved in the protest. They might have just been walking through trying to get to where they needed to go.
Mm.
We
I,
don't know
I
for a fact they were part of the protest. They might have just been walking through and got a Molotov to the face. Who knows?
I'm just saying.
I know. And that's
I'm
again
just
because all of the
asking the
protesters,
question.
they said all of the victims were between the ages of 67 and 88.
That's what I'm saying. That's a huge, like,
That's the hippie generation.
right. And,
Oh, maybe they just never outgrew their hippiness.
and what, they think they're going to do something to somebody that,
Well, they didn't exactly sway the points of the Vietnam War, so what? They're trying now.
it
They
just
didn't make
is,
a difference back then. What? Why? How do they think they're going to make a difference now?
it's just disturbing to me that that older group, and then you're getting up into that more elderly group, is out there knowing that there's, a potential for severe violence to occur, and this is not a game. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not a joke. It's not a game. It's not a, oh, let's just go, we're going to grab a sign and do whatever. Because there's whack jobs out there. There could
Hmm.
be somebody just walking by that gets pissed off and body slams them or does whatever. Look at the crap that goes on up in New York City. It just bothers me that, I don't know, that, somebody is going to hurt somebody else that is weaker. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. That's my take on it. If that was my parents or whatever, I'd be telling my mother, "Are you out of your frickin' mind?" You know?
And she'd probably be like, "It's none of your damn business."
Oh no, I'd grab my mother, so don't worry about that. Yeah, I'd get my mother.
Unfortunately, some people
Yeah,
join them.
can't or whatever, but
Well, and the other
there
thing
has
is
to
they want
be
to feel like they're doing something. They want to feel important, and
write
that's
a
why they get
letter.
involved as activists.
Write a letter.
That ain't going to do no good any more than standing out there and complaining.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to sound so negative, but it's a fact.
I know that's the whole thing is negative. That's what I'm saying. That's like that, and I'm sorry. The dippity-doo woman standing outside of that van at the ice facility that they kept walking, and she has the love sign in her hand, and she's blowing kisses into the
I
van.
know. I know.
Really?
They don't know these people. And Art says some of the motivation is likely cultural. They might see the hostage as family. You need something more familiar. You need somebody more familiar with the culture to explain it. Well, these are American people protesting. So I think he referred to them as Zionists. So I'm assuming they're Jewish people who were protesting something, and all he did was yell "Free Hamas" or "Free Palestine."
Palestine.
Chucked a bunch of Molotovs at them. It's like I don't get it.
I don't get it either. The whole thing.
And violence never solved anything, and yet people still do this.
Uh-huh.
I mean, only in rare cases has violence and overthrowing the government ever actually worked. It is very few cases that it actually works. America was one of them. I mean, if you look at the history of the wars and outbreaks, yeah. Art says they're Jewish. There's an entire culture there. Yep. And the guy
Right.
referred to him as
Yeah,
Zion.
I know. I
And again, I know I've read up a bit and watched a few videos on people about Zionism, and I think there's a lot of misconception about it. They are very passionate about their culture and their beliefs, but most Zionists do not think they are superior to other people. Now, there is another sect of Judaism that is absolutely a supremacy group, and I cannot remember the name of them. And I know Arby's at work, so I can't ask him. But yeah, they exist, and they are a supremacy group. Now, who knows? I'm not from that culture. I'm just learning more about it. I am nowhere near an expert, but there are the supremacy groups in every culture. I'm sorry, every race, every culture has a supremacy group, and people need to get over it. And they also need to be shunned and ridiculed for their bull crap.
Right.
I totally agree. But again, Zionists had a lot of bad rap, especially back because of World War II. The Zionists and the Bolsheviks were blamed for everything. And I, again, I want to learn more about it so I can try to understand it better. But I don't know if I ever will be able to fully understand it because we are talking about a almost since the beginning of mankind culture being passed down and with very little change to it. So that's a lot to learn. That is a lot to learn.
Yes.
But
And again, I
to
don't.
the
Yeah,
next one
and on
before we
any
run
of
out of
this, I
time.
do not profess to be an expert on their culture or what they're attempting to do. My issue with it is, I'm sorry, but at 88, I could think of better things that you should be doing than out there protesting with the potential to have some violent criminal or violent person possibly accost you and you not being able to defend yourself. And that's my biggest concern is the protection. I don't know if they have police there. Some people are required. I know where I worked, depending on what the issue was, or for the reason that you were protesting, you may or may not have been required to have so many police. They'd estimate,
Yeah.
we expect, 5,000 people to show up, so therefore you have to have maybe 10 police officers. Um, I don't know if that was this case or not, but it bothers me that an
Well,
88-year old,
art adds in, I agree, but it's something like a religious calling for some of them.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, look at my in laws are 93. You know what I mean? I could guarantee you. What? Yes, but I'm still doing the podcast, darling.
We have another 20 minutes.
I have another 20 minutes for the podcast.
Unless we need to cut it short and we can cover
No,
the
we
rest
don't.
later.
Just bring it here. They don't care that I'm eating steak and potatoes for dinner.
Ooh, send me some.
Yeah, I got lucky today.
I've had coleslaw for lunch
Yeah,
and snack.
after the frickin' slop I had yesterday, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We went from a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese that then had baked beans alongside. I thought maybe I was back at the nursing home. And then when I took a bite of them, I knew I was back at the nursing home because the baked beans were ice cold while the mac and cheese was hot. And it was just like, oh no, this
Well,
just
just
doesn't
mix
go.
the baked beans into the mac and cheese and it'll warm
I
them up.
did that. It did not help. The beans
Oh,
were just
okay.
too cold. You know, the house has been cold because I shut the furnace off. So, yeah, So I figured it was worth a little payback.
Okay, that makes sense.
So he was nice to me.
And Art says, get D a
I'm
cattle prod.
encroaching. He says I'm encroaching on his spot. We got
Oh,
20
well,
minutes left, and I'll be done and out of your way. Here, you can have this and
I
this.
gotta
And
go to Jake's ball game.
oh, are you? They're playing tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Leave that here.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks, babe. Go ahead, Crazy B. What you got?
We got the next one is these people are, I guess, mad because Trump is very upset about a trans athlete participating in a girls' track event.
Okay.
It's deeply unfair. And for all these parents that have little girls who work very hard in all these sports, whether it's track and field or the softball situation that's going on in Minnesota right now, where they've got a team that's dominating the rest of the teams because they have a trans pitcher on the team. If you're a parent of one of these little girls who worked their whole life to get to something like this, only to be aced out at the end by a completely unfair competition, it must be deeply frustrating. And politicians have a responsibility, A, to listen to their people, but B, to take real stands. And the true best real stand here, and it also happens to be very popular, is just to say it's fundamentally unfair, and it's deeply unfair to women. It's unfair to girls. It's unfair to women in these sporting events who are being knocked off of podiums. Have been happening for years. Trump took a strong stand on it, and a lot of people rallied around him, and it's because the American people agree.
Yep. So there's a major outrage over this because, yeah, they're trying to put boys and girls sports and ruining girls' potential athletic careers. I think it's wrong. I agree with Art. Let there be 3 classes, male, female, and other. Absolutely. If they want a
I agree
game, they're
too.
going to have to get enough together.
And the same with bathrooms. They used to do, male, female, and family. I mean, other. Yeah, family. It was
Yep, just use the family
yeah,
restroom
use
if
the
you are,
family. There's no reason for that. And I'll tell you what. Well, I'm in no. See, here's a prime example of somebody that still thinks that they can, take somebody down by a taekwondo move or whatever. You know what I mean? Or thinks that they're strong enough to handle somebody. But, when you're walking in with your walker, short of picking that up and wailing it at somebody, I'm not going to do jack, jack shit against no dude walking into the women's restroom. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
Which,
why I carry a stun gun,
yeah,
one of those taser things, a
right.
pocket knife, and a 9mm at any given time. I'm defended. I'm protected at all levels of force.
Well, I'm not allowed to carry because of my narcotics, so that's a no. So what do I do?
You should be still allowed to carry a pocket knife, just not a firearm. You could get one of those online taser things.
Yeah, I can try
That
that.
worked. I mean, Phil tried out mine. I wish I had been live when he tried it out. I would have like, camera on, watch this.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I wish
he
we
tried it out on
could.
his own arm, and he learned the
Yeah,
hard way.
yeah, I wish that was videotaped.
Oh,
Dumbass.
I wish he'd give me some warning. He just starts playing with it. All of a sudden, he sticks it to his arm, and he's like, "Ah!" And I'm like, "You fucking idiot!"
Dumbass, he was.
I mean, he could have had a heart condition, and I would have to do CPR. Like, dude, really? D should move out of a fake and gay area. I agree.
I should what?
But no, a lot of states have laws about narcotics in your
Yeah,
blood and having a firearm.
right. That's the problem.
Yes.
What are you looking for? Yeah, a lot of states have rules regarding narcotic use and other things.
Like even in Michigan, you can have 0 alcohol, 0 marijuana, and 0 opioids in your blood to be a concealed carry permit.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
For a concealed carry, absolutely cannot have any of that in your blood when you use your firearm. Otherwise, you are instantly going to lose your case and sit in jail. Yep. So again, home when you're out and about, going to town stuff, don't stop at the bar and have a beer and then end up having to use your weapon to defend yourself. It doesn't go well.
Right.
Yep. And that I think is a bit ridiculous in itself. Because alcohol, again, like if it's just one beer, it's like driving. Just one beer does not always put you over the limit for the alcohol use, and it doesn't put you over the state limit for driving. So again, you gotta know.
Well,
I carry a lead finger, and I've carried a lead finger for 40 plus years. I just told old, and I'm just too old and to throw hands anymore. Um I could do okay against an untrained attacker, but if they really want to fight, no. And that's me too. I can hold my own against someone who's untrained or half my size. After that, I'm pulling out a leveling device. We'll call it a leveling device.
see, you're talking about just like one beer. I'm talking about the whole bottle. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, no. We're
Yeah.
not doing that. But
Oh,
again, I still don't think it's right that they put like zero tolerance on it. And luckily, Kentucky is a constitutional carry, which means none of that shit matters. You're allowed to carry, period. No restrictions. If you want a permit, they have a permit that you can get. So you can carry across state lines, which is something I need to do because I am literally a 5-minute drive from Tennessee.
mm-hmm.
So I go to Tennessee quite frequently.
Right.
And that's to pick people up from work, drop them off, grab something that they didn't have in Kentucky. And yeah, I need to be able to carry. So
That's right.
I'm
So
going to
if you get
work
pulled
on getting
over,
it.
if you get pulled over in Tennessee,
I get in trouble.
big trouble.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I can be arrested.
Yes.
And so that means leaving the gun at home for
Mm-hmm.
a 5-minute drive or a 15-minute drive to pick someone up from work. Yep. I get in trouble.
Hmm.
D, one bottle is as in a 40 ounce. I'm thinking more of like a fifth. That's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. We're talking a fifth. We're not talking no little bottle.
yeah, no, just hand me the keg. I'll be fine.
That'll work too. That definitely will work. I won't be feeling any pain then from babysitting. That's what I told them. They called me and told me they were going to give me a 10 cents an hour increase from zero. So that would be 10 cents an hour. And I said, that's fine, but I want a bottle of vodka with it. So I'm still waiting for the payroll
Mhm.
and the paycheck and the vodka. And then they had a very good point to make that, normally, you have to wait 2 weeks to get, paid. So
Yep.
we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. But,
Fingers crossed.
uh-huh. A girl can dream. All right, what's up next?
Yep. Up next is the leaked medical report proves that the Olympic box fighter was actually male.
Yeah, this is an
And
interesting story. Do we have the video?
yes, I'm going to play it right now.
Okay.
A controversy over gender in women's sports is now unfolding in the Olympic spotlight. It was sparked by this moment. In just 46 seconds, Algerian women's boxer Iman Khalif beat her Italian opponent, Angela Carini, in an Olympic boxing match. Now, Carini says she stopped because of the intense pain in her nose after the opening punches. She burst into tears after the fight and did not shake Khalif's hand. That led to a flood of online abuse against Khalif, including from Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling, Jake Paul, and former President Trump, who posted this to Truth Social, quote, "I will keep men out of women's sports." I want to bring in Jamel Hill. She's a contributing writer for The Atlantic and the host of Jamel Hill is Unbothered podcast. Jamel, so good to see you. I have been seeing this headline and following it for days now, thinking about all that's been taking place and all the speculation. People jumped the gun on this before knowing the full story. Why were they so quick to come out against her?
It's really simple. The reality is that people in this country, certain people, certain groups of people, the conservative right being at the top of the list, are weaponizing trans women and the trans community and using that as...
I am too. I was going to say, no, we're not weaponizing anything. Y'all are weaponizing it to take over.
And why is it that they always come out with the conservative group? Huh?
Because we're the targets. They want to make us the bad guys.
It's a damn shame.
That's the sad part.
Right. It can't be based on the merits of the case. It has to be thrown out that, you know, it's the right-wing conservatives that are the problem, right?
I don't even identify as a right-wing conservative. I'm pretty much central constitutionalist, and they yet somehow drag me and drop me in that group and label me that way, all because I actually believe there's two genders, and anyone who believes otherwise does have a mental illness, needs to get help, and should not be in women's sports. They can fight in the sport of their gender.
Right.
Art says, you wanted to shove it in my face. I didn't weaponize anything. Exactly. Exactly. We all are having a problem with this. It's not... You guys are the ones trying to force this into everywhere. And we're just saying, no. Because you're making an unfair balance in women's sports. And girls are getting kicked out of areas they should be excelling in. Because there's a bunch of men now in the sport. I don't like it.
And this is pre-Trump's getting back into office. I know he said he signed the executive order.
Yes.
No in women's sports. So does
Title IX is very much in place.
Correct. So does that mean that we're not going to see this in the Olympics? What has the
Hopefully not.
What has the Olympic Commission decided?
Oh, they are now doing gender testing on everybody.
Okay.
That has been adapted.
So they now have changed their tune, and they now are going to go along with the gender issue, where previously they had announced that they were going to do transgender, that they were accepting them.
They also lied. They also lied about the gender test showing female. I was thinking maybe it was one of those super chromosomes, like where you get the extra chromosome,
right?
Which is something we've talked about before. It does exist. There's I think there's 11 different forms, and of this extra chromosome option that for the genders to it, which will either make you super feminine, super masculine, lesser than normal for both. And it's there's a whole bunch of options genetically that you're still genetically female, but you have an extra chromosome that might make you have more testosterone than every other woman. It happens. Art says, I trained women. Trust me when I say I was really determined they would not lose, and I would prove that to make a point too. It's not easy for a 5'4" woman to take on a 6'3" man. It is not easy. She better know how to use his body mass against him. That's more of a jujitsu thing, using their own momentum and mass against them. And Aikido does a very similar tactic. But still, most women will not stand a chance against a male ever. And to put them in their
Isn't that
sports.
in? Just hold up, stop the presses, because I seem to recall us having a conversation. Am I wrong about what my memory says about when we were talking about women in the military?
Yeah, and I also said they have to be able to keep up. If they can do what the men are doing, then leave them in. If they cannot, they don't go. I made that clear. That's my stance. If they
Okay,
can keep up with the men's PT, then let them stay.
but not, you're
My
saying
stance
that,
has changed.
but you're now saying that a 5'4" woman is not going to be able to go up against a 6'3" man. So why would
Yeah,
we have her serve in the military?
and that's what I held to. If you remember correctly, I said if they can keep up with the men and do what the men do, let them stay. If they cannot, then they don't serve. So if she's 5'4" and can't keep up, then she does not get to be in the military.
But are
I
you?
held that last
I
time and
know
I
you
have not
did, but are
changed it.
you? But what's your statement now that
It's the
they can't?
same. There are some women who can. I used to be able to do what a lot of men did. I used to be able to keep up with them. My ex sister in law was able to keep up back when the military did have that rule. That they did have a little bit modified for women, but she was able to pick up a 200-pound man and drag him. She was able to pick him up, carry him over her shoulders, or drag him. She was able to do it. And so I have no problem with her being in the military.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my stance has not changed one bit on that. If they have to be able to keep up with the 6'3" man, or they don't go. And again, some women can, some can't. It all depends on whether they can do it or not.
I think we could
And by
utilize
the way, my
those.
ex sister in law is about 2 inches shorter than me. I think she's 5'7", and she can lift and move as much as any man. I watched her pick up a transmission and an engine by hand. And that's after being out of the military and back
And I
working
don't deny
and doing
that.
a bunch of other
And I
things.
don't deny that. However, I think that that's probably a unique opportunity. And we talked about the
Well, that's
various.
why I said,
I know, and we talked about the various situations that a woman could encounter. I just think that there's probably a specialty area for them. I just wanted to confirm what I thought I had heard. That's all.
yep,
No,
nope, I haven't changed my opinion. And
no,
so if this woman can't
no
keep up with men, she
disrespect
should not
meant
be in the
there,
military.
Crazy B. I'm just checking, validating what I thought I recalled. That's all, to make sure that
Yeah.
that's what I heard. Oh,
Oh,
that
yeah.
sounds
Yep.
convincing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't change my opinion or my stance
I'm
very
just
often.
saying, all I wanted to confirm was what I heard back then was what I heard today. That's all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
No,
said back then. That's
and
exactly
no
what I just said
disrespect
today.
meant with you and your yeah. All right?
No, but again, my point has always been most women cannot keep up with men. So most women should not be in the military. Most women should not be doing frontline combat.
Right? Or
Yep.
police work.
Oh, I've seen some of the women out there that they have on the police force right now.
Uh-huh.
Oh, lordy.
Yep.
There was two women trying to detain a guy, and a civilian had to help them. A male civilian held him down while they cuffed him.
No.
Two women could not take down one man. I'm
That's sad.
telling you, most women should not be in some of these professions. They have to prove they can do it as well as a man can. But then again, some of these men in the police force can't do it either. I
I
have
agree
watched
with that.
videos of that.
Yeah. That's just look at those DEI uh
Yes, but yet they're still on the force. Again, I'm not trying to bash the police. I am simply pointing out DEI has been a very bad thing for many fields of work.
Yep.
And a lot of these women need to check themselves. I think a lot of these women need to be put like, oh, I can do this. I can do that. Let's see it. Come on, let's go.
Right.
I would love to do that. Oh, you think you can beat up men because men are so horrible and that you're just as equal as a man? Step into this ring right here. Both of you are untrained. Have at it.
Right.
I would love to put so many of these people in their place. They need a reality check. I got my reality check in middle school when the guys decided they didn't like me and started bullying me. I learned my own strength and I learned to defend myself.
Right.
It's just, can you actually do it? Some can't. It just, I had the benefit of being close to their size. So it was a little bit more balanced, but still. And I also had years of Taekwondo training at that point. So,
Right.
yeah. I had a couple of years of Taekwondo before they started coming at me. And I just don't play that game. I learned how to defend myself against guys my size and a little bit bigger. Now, if a 6'4", 6'5" guy comes at me, you can bet I'm pulling out the taser.
You know what would be funny?
Huh.
Me and you having a Taekwondo contest.
Oh, that would be great. Oh my God. Could you see that? We're both in bad shape. You got, but you, the thing is you got to your black belt, right?
No, I was double stripe. I was one thing away from black belt.
Okay. My last competition was against someone of the same rank as you. And the only reason I did not get third place, and I was the least experienced in this competition here in my group, is because when I threw a kick, she stepped into it and I hit her in the hip and they counted it against me. And that was on the rematch. We tied and we had to rematch. And
Yeah.
that last kick, she decided to slide her hip over so I would clip her. And that's what they did. I'm like, bullshit. No, this was a no contact level. This competition was no contact. Otherwise, I would have. Honestly, she would have been on the ground. And that was me at a green belt, halfway to my black belt. And I actually tied with someone who was going for their black belt. So imagine if I had made it to getting my black belt, what I would have been able to do.
When we come down, we'll have a contest.
Yeah, we're going to be there with our walkers pretending to...
I'll be in the walker, you'll be in your wheelchair. Or I'll bring my wheelchair. We'll do wheelchair to wheelchair.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Here we go. I put you in another fit.
Coughing fit. I'll live.
Get the breathing treatment on. She
I'll
can't
live.
breathe.
Oh, family's home. We're running late.
All right,
But,
go ahead. What's up next?
No, we still have 4 more videos. Oh no, 5.
That many? What do we got up? Let me see what's the most important. And
we have that barber in Pennsylvania, the climate cult, the Trump family, that Sesame Street one, and a representative learning a lesson.
Okay, why don't we end it with the Sesame Street one, since I started out with the baby and everybody got to see the picture.
Oh my God.
Okay, is over.
Wait, what do you do? Hold on. Dee's talking. Stop.
Yeah. I will definitely be making phone calls about this, and this will play in my house over my dead fucking body.
Yeah, evidently it has. I did some research. This has not aired yet. It's set to be aired in August. Watch this.
It's time to finally unveil Alan's monster makeover!
Oh, it's uncanny! Ellen looked just like Jonathan Van Ness.
Cookie Monster Cookie, that is Jonathan Van Ness.
Elmo, Cookie, are you ready to see my monster piece?
Ready, Jonathan!
Mama Bear, some runway music, please.
Oh, yeah.
People and monsters alike, a round of applause for the Not Too Late Show's newest monster, Alan. Ta-da! Alan Monster is wearing the latest in high monster fashion with a set of sleek horns, fluffy, fuzzy fur, all topped off with a monster honker.
I like how Owen went, that is Jonathan. Like,
Yeah.
Deadpan went, that is Jonathan.
Yes.
I
Like,
don't
even
even
he's
I
found
don't even know
the
what to
nonsense.
say about that.
Oh, okay, JJ. Now I see what you were saying. God, I'm glad I don't have kids. Yep. Same.
I
Very
mean,
much the same right here.
you know,
Guys, I'm in the middle of a podcast. Go take the conversation out there.
I
Oh,
truly am at my wit's end. Is this what they took over to where was it that they took the Sesame Street program to? Oh fudge. Was that Iran that they took it to? I can't remember. And they spent time creating something. I mean, that looks something like I would throw together. You know, we were trying to make a costume at home first off. It does not look like a professional Sesame Street character. But
no.
now we're going to get into this whole arena. Really? Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
ain't happening. I'm making some phone calls. I mean, thank God I have old DVDs that I don't have to rely on this crap on TV.
Yeah.
How is this permitted? And this
It
is
shouldn't
and this
be.
is the
Plain and
stuff,
simple.
right? And this is the stuff that the government is trying to defund PBS and NPR.
Which I have an entire video on.
Right. And we'll play that later on. But they want to get rid of these services, and people are flipping out. Oh, it's necessary we have them. And a federal judge right now has told Trump he has to put them back, the programming. So I don't know how this
Yeah.
is all going to shake out, but I'm just thoroughly disgusted. You know, as a parent, as a grandparent, it is absolutely absurd. What do you say to
It
that?
is.
What do you say to any of that?
Nope and nope some more.
But you're going to have your child, you know, people are going to have their child come back and be, oh, look at Alan. Oh, I mean, they're going to believe in him. That's what I don't like. If that is an
I don't like it
indoctrination,
either.
yeah, but if that is an indoctrination of some sort, what would you call it?
Messed up.
Well,
It's really messed up. But the links for the stuff we didn't get to will be in the
oh
description
no,
because they
no,
were
no,
just
no.
shorts.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
No, throw it in
Take those
for, we'll do it
out.
for next Tuesday.
Okay, let me go find them and pull them out.
Sorry. You ain't getting me again saying, we need stuff for today. Unless you think there's something that's relevant for time, from a time thing. You know what I'm trying
Hold
to say.
on. Yeah. Let me just remove the stuff we did cover from the description.
See, I like giving her a hard time.
Okay. And now let me go fix it over here.
Thank you, ma'am. Because you know they don't look at it anyway, Crazy Bee. You know.
Some people might.
No, you know JJ, Art, MJ, who else? Jeannie, Blue Rose. They ain't going back down there and looking and going, What did D and Crazy B say today that we missed or didn't cover? I think I'm going to go look. Nah, I don't believe it. Who else did I miss? Who else didn't I call out? RB. Who else am I missing off our list?
I'm not sure.
Oh, by the way, I keep forgetting to please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us on Rumble. Leave any comment, negative or positive. We don't read them anyway.
I do.
No, yes, we do. We read all our comments. And if you haven't done so already, please join our Discord, where all kinds of crazy stuff goes on, guaranteed.
Yep. Anywho's, you ready to call
Good.
it?
Are we ready to call it? I'm ready.
I am too.
Yep, I've already had a nice dinner. Thank you everybody for joining us today. I thought that baby JJ was on a scale of 1 to 10, being the 1 is the worst and 10 being the best. I would give him a solid 8 today.
He did good.
Yeah, he didn't
He
do
did.
too bad. And we'll teach him, his first words will be them suck. How about that?
That'd be awesome.
No, we'll see. We'll figure out a good word for him to learn. But anyway, everybody have a good evening, and we shall see you tomorrow from 3 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. And other than that, I'm out, Crazy B. What about you?
I do believe I am as well.
You sound tired.
I am.
Did you nap today?
Why would I do a thing like that?
Okay, that explains it then.
Napping's overrated. You didn't know
I
that?
I hear you. But it is a good hobby.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, that used to be my hobby. Those days are long gone, though. Anyway, all right, babe, I'm done.
I am too. So, y'all just go ahead, stay safe, stay sane, stay sober. We will be here tomorrow, same time, same place, and hopefully better prepared. We'll see. We shall
That's
see.
funny. Oh, that's funny. Don't anybody
I,
hold us
I, I,
to it.
oh yeah, don't.
Yeah, don't
Just
hold us
don't.
to it. No, especially while you're learning this new system,
Oh yeah.
which I think for the most part
Please
you have
be
down.
nice.
Yeah, you have it down for the most part. There's just some tweaking that
Well,
needs.
all those videos that we have set up to cover for Trump and all that tomorrow, and
They're
all the
gone.
articles. No, they're not gone. I got to upload them to YouTube so I can turn around and show them the edited
Oh,
ones that I have.
jeez.
Yeah, I got some work to do, but we're going to get through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
If you say so.
Yeah.
If you need help, don't call me because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is something I just have to deal with on my end and pray for the best, right?
We're going to pray for the best. All right, I'm out.
I believe I am too, so